Hi folks, welcome to my channel, Fantasy Hockey Amateur. I kind of really wanted to start this channel because a few years ago I was invited to a fantasy hockey league with some work colleagues, and they all thought that I had no idea about hockey, had no idea about fantasy, and to be honest, at the time I didn't. So during my experiences, I collected a little bit of knowledge over the last few years. I'm not very good. I've won one league over the last 5 years, but I'm here to help you. I'm here to help the average person who gets roped into a fantasy hockey league, whether they're in Canada, the US, or anywhere else around the world. You get roped into a league and you're going to be swimming if you have never done fantasy before, and especially if you've never done fantasy hockey before, because it is very involved. However, you can set it up each week, and if you do it right, you're going to have a really good year and make it easy on yourself. So here are just a few tips and tricks and just a little bit of information if you are a newbie for the 2018 year. Now, before we get in, I don't profess to know everything about every platform. There's a number of platforms you can use, but anyway, just to get started, the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to get invited by the commissioner of the league that you're going to join, whether that's a friend, a colleague, a friend of a friend, a family member. You'll need to give them your email address. Now, you give them your email address, and then they will send you an invite to your email address. And once you get that, you'll be logging on to your next fantasy league. And I'm going to use this as an old 2017 league from Yahoo. Now, in this league here, I think we had about 12 people. And that's generally a good number to have, a good even number. Some leagues like 10, some leagues like 8. It just depends. Some leagues I've known that have been going for 10 years love to have only 8 people. They play the whole time. And you'll see as we get into this tutorial and this sort of brushing up on fantasy hockey that you'll see some people why they like only having 8 in their league. But 12 is usually a good round number. So first things first, once you've joined your league, generally I recommend is to have a little look around your platform. Now all the platforms look like this. This is obviously the end of season 2, so the platforms change and they close, but this is just a little bit of help here. So what we have will be, you'll have rosters, you'll have all the managers, so you'll be able to email them internally on your platform. You'll have drafting results, you'll have the league rules and everything. So first things first, you get in and have a little browse around, see what there is to see on your platform. Now, the next thing is we'll skip a few here and we'll go straight through to the platforms. So you'll have Espn, you'll have Yahoo, you'll have Fantrax, you'll have NHL.com. I think they have a fantasy league now. There's a million different platforms. Some of the most popular right now are Yahoo. Fantrax is a brand new one that's going to be up and running. But at the end of the day, they're all kind of the same. There's a few little niches here and there, but as I said, this is going to be new to you, so we just want the very, very basics. So once you've joined your league and you've worked out what platform and you've had a little work around on the platform, you had a little play, there'll be a draft date set. Now this will be a day very close to the start of the regular season. Now, not the preseason, the regular season, because that's when your fantasy league is going to start. So generally, a lot of commissioners or managers of leagues will like to start their draft probably a week out or 2 weeks out, or even some managers will like to do it the day before it starts. Now, the reason why they do it 2 weeks out or 1 week out is they like to get everyone committed to the season. Now, getting your league committed to the season is a huge deal. Once you get everyone committed, then you plan your draft date, and that will be the day or the night that you'll draft your team. Now, there are some leagues out there, as I just had discussed before, that will be 8, 10, or 12. I think, as I said before, 10 or 12 are the best. Now, why I say that is you'll be set up in either divisions or head-to-head or on points. So when I talk about that, it will be you'll have like your schedule, so week to week. You'll have week 1, these two teams will play, these two teams will play, these two teams will play. So have we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in this league, there was 10 players, right? So there would be these two playing this week, these two of these playing this week, these two, these two, these two. Right? So it's a nice even number, so 5 against 5 for that week. Then the next week, the teams will change. And they'll go week to week to week. You'll play against each other. Now, it can be either a standings, so here you'll have a win, loss, and tie record. So you'll have, say, the first person in the league might end up having the most amount of wins, right? And then if they're tied for first and second are tied, then it will go to ties. Who's got the most ties, and then losses. And then you have percentage and your points. So there's different ways of your league can be set up. You might have a West, and you might have an East League division, and that will be set up where you might have 2 people from each division at the end of the season will go into a playoff format, and then it will be knockout for those 2 or 3 weeks, or even 2 weeks, because you might have the 2 divisions, they play against each other. Say if there's 4, and then the winner of that goes into like a kind of like knockout. So I think, I don't know if I'm making sense here, but once again, I am amateur, and this is, at another aspect of it, it might go the whole season, and it might be on points. So that might mean categories. I'll get into categories later. Category wins per week. It might mean the most amount of goals or assists, and you calculate all that together, and whoever has the most points wins the entire league. Now there's all different ways you can do it, but generally there'll be a division, maybe 2 divisions, and that's how at your end of your season, how you'll have your playoffs. Now, the next thing to think about is your stats in your league. Fantasy hockey is all about stats. Fantasy in general is all about stats. Now, in hockey, the big ones here are goals, assists, plus minus, your goalie stats. These are very big. These are huge. And this is where, so let's click on this. So here we go. Here is an example of statistics right here. Here's an example of some statistics right here. You'll have goals, assists, plus minus, PIMs, which is your penalty minutes, your power play, your hits, and your blocks. Now that'll be for your offensive and defensive players. And then down here you'll have your goalies, where you'll have wins, goals against, your goals against average, your saves against, shots against, your save percentage, and your shutouts. Now all of these are very important statistics within your fantasy league. Now each league might be different. They might have, I don't know, together it might have goals, assists, and combined points. They might have, there's a ton of different statistics, but this is a very basic setup here. Okay, so now we have the basics. Just to recap, joining your league, you got to get invited by your commissioner via email. Once you've joined your league, you got to work out what kind of platform you're on, have a little look around. Then they'll be able to set your draft date once all your people are committed, whether it be 8, 10, 12, 6, it doesn't matter. As long as it's an even number, you'll be all committed. And then the next thing is your stats. So you're going to browse over your stats, see what your commissioner has set, goals, assists, and we'll get in all into this when you go into your drafting. So this is just the basics. Now you've set up. Now you're into the system. You have a draft date coming up. That will be your, you've had a little look at your platform. Now you know what you have to do.